In 2014, a janitor named Ronald Reed passed away in a small town in Vermont. He never earned more than minimum wage. He drove an old pickup truck and used a safety pin to hold his coat together. When his will was read, his family discovered something that made national news. He had quietly built an $8 million fortune. That same decade, dozens of professional athletes earning multi-million-dollar contracts filed for bankruptcy. Within just a few years of retirement, same country, same economy, wildly different outcomes. So, what actually separates them? It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not even income. It comes down to 6 invisible laws. Rules wealthy people follow, often without even realizing it. Rules that school never once mentioned. Today, we're breaking down all 6. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the size of your paycheck matters far less than most people think. Let's start with the first law. Law 1. Wealth is built by ownership, not effort. From childhood, we're taught the same formula. Study hard, get good grades. Work hard, get promoted. Work even harder. None of that advice is wrong. It's just incomplete. Because effort creates income, ownership creates wealth. Take 2 neighbors. Sarah is an ICU nurse, 12-hour shifts, incredibly skilled, saves lives every week. But every dollar she earns depends on showing up tomorrow. Next door lives Michael. Years ago, he built a small software business. Now, customers pay him while he's asleep. Subscriptions renew while he's on vacation. Sarah almost certainly works harder, but Michael has built something Sarah hasn't. A business that keeps earning, even when he's not in the room. That's the shift almost every wealthy person eventually makes. They stop asking, how do I make more money? And start asking, what can I own that keeps making money, even when I'm not working? A business, stocks, rental property, royalties, a digital product, a patent. Every asset becomes another worker on your payroll, one that never asks for a raise, a lunch break, or a weekend off. That's why business owners, investors, authors, and shareholders often reach financial independence faster than even high-income employees. Because income depends on your time, ownership doesn't. Which brings us to a law that surprises almost everyone. Cash flow beats big income. Ask most people what it takes to get wealthy and you'll hear the same answer. I just need to make more money. It sounds logical. Reality says otherwise. America is full of doctors, athletes, lawyers, and executives who earned millions and still ended up broke. Because income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what's left after everything else takes its share. Picture someone earning $12,000 a month. Impressive. Until you subtract the mortgage, the leased car, the credit cards, the private school tuition, the vacations, and the subscriptions nobody even remembers signing up for. By the time it's all accounted for, that impressive paycheck is gone. Now picture someone earning half that. Instead of upgrading their lifestyle with every raise, they invest 20% automatically. They avoid unnecessary debt. They let a portion of every paycheck buy income-producing assets. 10 years later, the person earning less on paper is worth more in reality. This is lifestyle inflation, the quiet trap where every raise gets absorbed before it has a chance to compound. A better apartment, a nicer car, a few upgrades that each feel reasonable on their own, but together consume the entire increase. That's how some people double their income and never move their net worth. Wealthy people tend to flip the order. When income rises, investments rise first. Lifestyle rises second. One version compounds, the other disappears. And it turns out, the people you spend the most time around may already be pulling you in one direction or the other, often without you even noticing. Your environment quietly programs your wallet. Have you ever bought something? Not because you truly needed it, but because everyone around you already had it. The newest iPhone, a luxury SUV, a vacation that looked perfect on Instagram. At the time, it probably felt like your decision. But was it really? Psychologists have studied this for decades. Human beings naturally imitate the people around them. Not because we're weak, because we're wired to belong. Thousands of years ago, being accepted by your tribe increased your chances of survival. Today, that same instinct quietly shapes how you spend money. If your friends upgrade their car every 3 years, that starts feeling normal. If your circle treats credit card debt as just part of adult life, that becomes normal too. Normal isn't always smart. Take two friends graduating from the same college, earning similar salaries. One spends weekends shopping, always chasing the next purchase. The other spends weekends reading about investing, listening to business podcasts, meeting people a few steps ahead of them. 10 years later, their income started in the same place. Their financial lives didn't. Not because one worked harder, because they were surrounded by different ideas. Social media has made this worse. Every day, your phone shows someone buying a new house, driving a Ferrari, flying first class. Your brain quietly starts believing this is normal. But remember, people post the purchase, not the payment plan. The new house, not the 30-year mortgage. The vacation, not the credit card bill waiting at home. Comparison has become one of the most expensive habits in modern life, and most people don't even realize they're playing the game. Wealthy people tend to protect something most people never think to protect: their environment, the books they read, the people they talk to. Because every conversation plants an idea, and every idea eventually becomes a decision. Sometimes getting wealthier doesn't start with earning more. It starts with changing what enters your mind every day, which is exactly why the fourth law matters so much. Time is the greatest investment multiplier. Most people think money grows because of large investments. In reality, money usually grows because of time. Picture two oak trees, one planted today, the other planted 10 years from now. Same water, same sunlight, same care. Yet one ends up dramatically larger, simply because it had more time. Money works the exact same way. That's the magic of compounding. Say you invest a few $100s every month, starting in your 20s. Nothing exciting happens the first year or the second. Your account barely moves, and you start wondering if it's even worth it. Then, years in, something strange happens. Your investments start earning returns. Those returns start earning returns of their own. Growth begins accelerating, almost unfairly fast. The beginning feels painfully slow. The ending feels unbelievably fast. Compounding doesn't stop at money either. Read 20 pages a day and nothing changes in a month. But 5 years in, you finish dozens of books. Your thinking has shifted, and doors have opened that wouldn't have otherwise. The same is true for fitness, relationships, skill. Small, repeated improvements eventually produce results that look extraordinary from the outside. What people call luck is usually just years of invisible compounding. The biggest financial mistake isn't starting small. It's waiting. Waiting for more money, for next year, for the right moment. Every year you delay is a year compounding doesn't get to work for you. Timing the market perfectly is nearly impossible. Starting is not, which is exactly the discipline the fifth law is built around.
Wealth loves systems, not motivation. How many times have you told yourself, this month I'll finally save money? Or, starting Monday, I'll invest every paycheck? Maybe it lasted a week, maybe a month. Then life happened. Unexpected bills, a busy week, an emotional purchase, and everything quietly returned to normal. Here's the problem. Motivation is temporary. Systems are permanent. You don't wake up every morning debating whether you feel motivated enough to brush your teeth. You just do it because it's routine. Now picture your finances working the exact same way. Every payday, money automatically moves into investments. Part goes straight to savings. Bills are already organized. Spending limits are already set. No constant decision-making. No relying on willpower. Just a system quietly running in the background. Airlines use checklists. Hospitals use procedures. Factories use automation because systems reduce mistakes. Wealthy people apply the same logic to money. Instead of depending on discipline forever, they remove as many decisions as possible. Automatic investing, automatic retirement contributions, automatic savings. Every automated decision is one less chance to make an emotional one, and emotions are expensive. Fear sells during a market crash. Greed chases risky bets. Impulse buys things nobody needed. Systems don't panic. They don't get emotional. They just keep working. Most wealthy people don't have unusually strong willpower. They've just built lives where the right financial decision is easier to make than the wrong one. Freedom isn't built through bursts of motivation. It's built through boring consistency, repeated for years. Which leads directly into the sixth and final law, the one people misunderstand more than any other. Buy freedom, not status. Picture two coworkers, both 45, both earning similar salaries, both looking equally successful from the outside. The first drives a brand new luxury SUV, wears an expensive watch, lives in a beautiful house, takes a luxury vacation every year. People look at him and think, he must be rich. What they don't see is the enormous car payment, the oversized mortgage, the credit card balances,
the pressure to keep earning the exact same paycheck every single month. If he loses his job, his entire lifestyle starts falling apart within weeks. Now look at the second coworker. His car is reliable, but nothing flashy. His house is comfortable, not oversized. He rarely buys things just to impress people. Instead, for years he quietly invested in index funds, bought shares in solid businesses, built a few extra income streams on the side. Nobody thought he looked wealthy, because real wealth is usually invisible. Then one day, his company announces layoffs. The first coworker panics. The second one doesn't, because his investments keep producing income. His savings buy him time. His assets give him options. And options are what real wealth actually looks like. Here's something advertisements never tell you. Status is rented. Freedom is owned. A luxury car might impress strangers for a few seconds. Financial independence changes every day of your life. The ability to be with your kids without worrying about missing work. The ability to leave a toxic job without fearing next month's bills. The ability to travel because you want to, not because you're trying to impress someone online. That's the luxury money was always supposed to buy, not attention. Freedom. If someone offered you a brand new Lamborghini or an investment that quietly paid you every month for the rest of your life, which would you choose? Most people would instinctively pick the car, because that's what success is supposed to look like. Wealthy people tend to pick the investment, because they understand something most people don't. The goal of money was never to look successful. It was to become independent. The moment you stop buying things to impress people is the moment you start building a future that no longer needs their approval. Bringing all 6 laws together. Let's step back for a second. None of these 6 laws asked you to be a genius. None required a billion-dollar idea, a lottery ticket, or wealthy parents. Every single one came down to decisions. Small ones repeated consistently. Law 1. Own assets, not just a paycheck. Ownership creates income that doesn't depend entirely on your time. Law 2. Protect your cash flow. Earning more means little if every dollar disappears just as fast. Law 3. Guard your environment. The people you listen to and the content you consume eventually shape the decisions you make. Law 4. Respect time. Compounding rewards consistency far more than perfection. And the earlier you start, the harder it works for you. Law 5. Build systems. Motivation fades. Good systems keep working long after the excitement wears off. Law 6. Buy freedom before status. The wealthiest person in the room isn't always the one in the nicest suit. It's usually the one with the most control over their own time, Final story. Fast forward 10 years. Future you is sitting alone one evening, looking back at this exact moment. There are only 2 versions of that conversation. In the first, I wish I had started back then. I wish I had invested earlier. I thought I had more time. That's a conversation millions of people eventually have. In the second version, you made a few quiet, undramatic decisions. You invested consistently, avoided unnecessary debt, chose ownership over appearances, built systems instead of relying on motivation. And year after year, your financial life slowly got less stressful, until one day you realized something. Money was no longer controlling your decisions. You were controlling your money. That's the real definition of wealth. Not millions of dollars, not the car, the mansion, or the watch. Just waking up every morning with more choices than worries. So before you go, which one of these 6 laws have you been ignoring without even realizing it? Because that one blind spot could be the exact thing standing between you and the version of your life you actually want. If this video gave you something worth using, subscribe. Not because one video makes you wealthy, but because one idea applied consistently is usually how it actually starts.